how do you prepare teachers to handle psychological or emotional dimensions that arise? It's very much part of the job. Your own emotions, right? Your own emotions and psychological dimensions will arise through teaching. Okay, and the students also will go through emotions and psychological things, and then you have to be able to handle both your own emotions and the emotions psychology of the students. So this is really challenging, actually, because of the spiritual dimension of yoga, where it isn't just exercise. These parts come in. They end up as in the equation, right? To me, this is a very challenging dimension of teaching. Ideally, you want to be very emotionally and psychologically healthy as a person. It requires a lot of self-awareness and work on yourself, like seeing your shadow and really being in this constant observation of what you're thinking and how you're reacting and how you're communicating and how you're feeling, and taking responsibility for how you feel and how you act and the consequences, and being able to admit when you're wrong, admit when you're having bad feelings or hard feelings, and be able to sit there with yourself and communicate when necessary. And then you also have to be able to have healthy boundaries, like emotional and psychological boundaries, so that when the students are having their own emotions, and that you're able to keep boundaries and not get into like reaction and like they call, there's one word of transference happens in psychology, and that it happens in the yoga relationship too. So you really have to be strong within yourself to just hold steady and be able to respond to people's emotions or psychological issues in a way that kind of protects you, but then also hopefully helps them. They can have emotions, and those can arise within their practice and within your room or your teaching atmosphere, and they can work through those things or grow. None of this is easy. You have to. There's a certain, I don't really like the word that much, but it really does apply, which is maturity. You've got to be mature. And if you're immature and you can't like both set strong boundaries, but at the same time be not selfish, or like be able to have empathy for others and hold space, you won't be an effective teacher, and you can get into problems with the students too. I do therapy. I've done a lot of it. I work on it, and I don't leave it up to chance. And also, I've been teaching for so long, and I was not mature for a long time. I mean, I've always tried hard to do a good job, but that maturity and the strength and like learning about setting boundaries happened over time. So you have to be patient with yourself, but you also have to be firm and be like committed to your own emotional and psychological health. You got to have that, because you're putting yourself in this position as guide and helper, and you have to be strong emotionally and psychologically to be an effective guide. And it means you have to be calling yourself out. You have to keep observing and being willing to grow yourself and being vulnerable and seeing what's going on with you, and processing it, and owning your stuff.
Thanks, David. it's hard to judge sometimes, like, when do you smother someone with love, or when do you just leave them the hell alone, you know?
Well, my saying, I love it. I didn't make it up though. But the meaning of your communication is the response you receive. So if you don't like the response you receive, you change your communication. And so if you feel like you got to put a lot of energy into someone and then they don't respond well, then you change your communication. You don't blame them. You don't go, gosh, I was given so much, and no. And then if distance doesn't get the response that you're looking for, well, then you be willing to change. You don't put it on them.